Hi, my name is Joshua Kraus, and I'm presenting the course project for Advanced Geothermal Systems under Dr. Ibrahim Dinser. So the purpose of this project is to analyze a US patented system that was provided for the course project and to provide an analysis of geothermal and solar resources and for the provision of heating, cooling, as well as electrical load supply. So first, in order for me to analyze the system, the first thing that I did was I created a case study. So I chose a location. My location is Southern Ontario, and then I decided on a building as my load or community, and that building is roughly 10 stories high, and my heating requirements are roughly 1,000 kilowatts, and my cooling requirements are roughly 350 kilowatts, and my electrical power supply or require or need is 450 kilowatts. So a few things that I did was I made some general assumptions. Most of my assumptions can be found in my report that was submitted, but for the case of this presentation, I'm going to say that I'm assuming the cooling is derived from electrical sources, so it's connected to the local transmission line where the turbine outputs electricity, as well as where the engine outputs electricity via the alternator, and it provides cooling during the summer months. And as well as for ease of calculation and simulation, the storage tanks will not be used. So I am assuming steady state and steady flow within the thermodynamic system. The way that the system works is essentially we have three subsystems or loops. The first one being the diesel, or in my case, I use diesel as a fuel, but an engine source where you're providing primarily heat through fuel combustion. And then you have the storage cycle, which is technically used as a heat transport system since the storage tanks are not being used. And then you have the Rankine cycle. So in terms of the solar system, during heating months, there won't be any solar system input, or very limited during these months due to the sun. So because of that, diesel will be heavily relied on through the exhaust heater and through the preheater, and the loop leading into the electrical heater will be really underutilized during that time. And for geothermal heating, because the ground temperatures are stable past a certain point, you'll find that we'll have steady heat input to the system throughout the cooling and heating cycles of the year. So because of that, during the winter months when heating is required, we're going to have a steady input of geothermal energy, as well as some assistance through the preheater for the diesel or fuel combustion engine input. For the cooling scenario, the solar system is going to have a lot of ability to provide a lot of renewable energy through solar, and the geothermal system will primarily stay relatively consistent, as my assumption is that the fluctuations of temperature under the ground are very minimal. So in terms of the efficiency, I used EES to calculate the given state points, and I arrived with an energy efficiency of roughly 63% and an exergy efficiency of roughly 30%. So based on that, it shows that the system is available to work. But in terms of cost, the solar scenario is going to require a lot more fuel consumption, because relying on a solar source for a country that has winter or cooler temperatures is going to cause a need of a secondary source or a secondary primary source, and that is fuel consumption, and that cost will fluctuate a lot based on the economy. In terms of geothermal, the cost to create the system is going to be deep. It's going to be steep, and as well as the well is going to have to be deep, and the depth is going to cost a lot, because we'll need to provide a high quality of thermal energy in order to help the system, or for the system to work. And for the fuel and for the solar, the cost of the solar is going to be less than the cost of geothermal, and the solar is going to be a more cost-effective solution. But the issue with the solar is that it just doesn't have the stability. So from an environmental impact standpoint, the solar I find is going to be the most environmental friendly solution during the summer months. The geothermal is going to have the most stability with the least amount of drawbacks. For example, the solar is recyclable and a lot of the efficiency remains even after 25 years. It's roughly around 80%. For the geothermal system, it's prone to a lot of corrosion and as well as thermal degradation if it's not properly managed. And in terms of the fossil fuel, whenever we burn fossil fuels, we gain a lot of uh, greenhouse gases, as well as we expose the air and the water to different pollutants, so such as acid rain, and we create air effects such as smog. So that's why it isn't favorable to size a system where we're using primarily a fossil fuel source. So based on sustainability and the environmental impact, my analysis shows that I recommend that the system be sized to the resources that are available on hand. So if this is located in a place where it's very sunny, then we utilize the solar and we maximize the thermal storage system within the actual cycle. And if it is in a geothermally active area, then we size the geothermal system as much as possible so that we limit the amount of diesel or fossil fuel intake into the system. Thank you for listening to my presentation.